Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Insomnia 59 and to the finale of the UK Masters Season 2. We have one more grand final here for you today, and we are going out with a bang as we conclude our CSGO tournament. Season 1 runners-up FM eSports return to the finals to take on Endpoint in a high-stakes winner-takes-all finale. So let me throw you over to the dream team of the CSGO casting world, Snods and Flakes.
Hello, 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 and welcome back. We're not in the studio this time, we're actually sat here for once, and I'm Snods. I'm here joined by Flakes.
Dream team, apparently. Loving the intro, great work on stage, of course, as usual. But time to get back down to the nitty-gritty. It's been 7 weeks. It's been 5,600 pounds dished out to all of the teams competing across the league. But now we are here. We've gone through playoffs, but it's time to get ourselves our winner. Of course, we can look at how we got here. Look at playoffs, for example, 2 huge teams, 2 getting them at Endpoint and FM. But it wasn't just them, of course, we had CX, we had Kaz as well.
So obviously, talk about CEX having such a strong start into the season, 2-0ing Endpoint, playing well versus Kaz as well. I believe they took the only map from them. And then following towards the end of the season, they really did, the fire really burnt out for them. Started losing a lot of series. They still made it to playoffs, but obviously lost versus FM and Kaz. And finishing that 4th seed, and then Kaz beating CX, eventually lost in a very convincing fashion to FM in that 2-0. And that was only last weekend.
Well, now there's one big question, and that's on pretty much everyone's lips when we talk about this matchup, and that's the previous result for these 2 teams, because it's not like they haven't played. No, they played in this very tournament. How is that going to affect things overall?
Obviously, there was the one map lead for Endpoint. They did win the initial best of 3 for the playoffs. So obviously, both these teams securing £4,000 minimum each. Winner of this best of 5. Obviously, Endpoint having the 1 map lead, so 4 maps potentially. Winner of this will take home £7,500.
A lot of money on the line and a whole lot of representation, I think, for these teams. And not only that, the organizations behind, of course, sending them here, making it happen from the behind-the-scenes perspective. But nonetheless, it is time for us to kick things off, because here we go. We're going straight into this one. Going to be the knife round, of course, Nuke, our first map. And in terms of map pool, Nuke, it's a different one. It's a bold move for Endpoint.
For sure,
once before. Imi had some pretty interesting words to say, and why don't you take us through that?
Yeah, so actually, when Endpoint and FM initially played in the playoffs for the finals, Endpoint, they banned Cobble. They do not want to play FM on Cobblestone. Fair enough, it's probably their best map. Instead, they allowed Nuke to come through, and actually, Endpoint had never played Nuke before. I know FM had practiced it, so you've got a practiced FM playing Nuke, map, they picked, they want to play. Endpoint never played it before.
Such an interesting affair overall, just to jump straight into a map that you've never played, but you know what, we talk about jumping straight into a map. We should be getting into this one any second now. Looks like the knife round result has been dictated, and anything special there, anything different?
It's quite important. I mean, FM, this is their map pick. Getting the side on your map pick is obviously very important to get your momentum rolling. Win the CT pistol and just keep it going from there. If the Ts do end up taking this pistol, if Endpoint do it, they can keep running in that lead. We saw what happened when they initially played on Nuke last time. Endpoint had such a strong outside strat. They wrapped in towards a main behind FM players on A site, and they took it that way. But obviously, what's the UK LAN without an update the day before? There's a new A site as well.
Now, we talked a lot about Endpoint. I feel it's only justice to dig into exactly why we're digging on them. Of course, we did do an interview with the guys over at Jinx TD, and it's just a quick, almost surmounting pass. What makes Endpoint work, and what makes their dynamic duo of Jesp and Lazar just so strong?
I mean, the linchpin is Imi, right? At the end of the day, if you're looking at skill of the players, I'll still give it to FM. But the way that Imi has the system work is so strong, and it really does, in my eyes, it's the reason they prevail. But enough of that, enough of the talking, because we are going right into the pistol round. The smoke comes in, the drop towards vent, and actually players following this work with the fast beat. It's been Neil Zinio to try and hold the line, hold the vent area, but he's headshot, and now this opens up the B bomb site for the Ts.
Stanley and Jess going to trade back and forth, just looking to smash down those blows as they come up trumps both directions. Stanley, just another headshot on towards Lazar, and it's working out for the T-side as they try and get this bomb down. It's going to be ticking on away, but bit by bit, their advantages being just taken apart by the CT side. They pretty much have control at this point. They're trying to force the hand on towards Mac. Jesp gets himself another smattering headshot back in return. And this flank could be so beautiful. Jesp, again, just another headshot on towards Jenko. Jesp, how much are you going to get done, Max? Just another add-on towards the tally, a double kill for him. What a quick return coming from Jesp, a triple kill overall, just to him to pin down that position. Shutting FM out of a retake that almost looked perfect for them.
So you saw the change in defense from the CT side. FM They had Jenko play towards Heaven because they're expecting A again. After what happened last time when they played, how successful Endpoint's pistol was, they thought they were going to run it again. That's why Jenko wasn't outside. He was towards Heaven to watch for the A push. Instead, the split from around, through the vent happened. Jess with the entries and the headshot that happened to Nilzinho really did open up that B-bomb site.
Now, Endpoint, they're going to be looking to build into this well and truly very strong, Mightful fashion almost. It's a triple UMP set, double AK, of course, on Jesper Max. And for them, it's about keeping this clean, but not only that, getting that bomb plant down and just not allowing FM to just have any impact at all. They want to lock them out of this, get that clean and comfortable 2-0. But for FM's perspective, denying a bomb plant, that's a given. But for them, getting that rifle, now we talked a lot about that back and forth affair. Look at the position of Stanley. He could have peeked one out, gets the frag on towards Laza. Robin, just another one. Just textbook from the CT side. Imi is going to trade one back, but look at how well FM have just positioned themselves here. This is ridiculous.
It's Ezio again towards the vent area, but the problem is Pulse knows exactly where he is, and actually he will be shot down. 5 players from the Endpoint side are all dead, and it's 4 players staying alive for the CT side. The bomb does go down. I mean, that's one thing. But the reset coming out for Endpoint, FM taking the force buy. And look at that, 4 players alive. They've got the guns to save. Their economy is definitely going to be building from this point on.
The greatest thing about that round was just literally how standard it was. We weren't seeing anything exciting, anything different, no flair in the round. Yep. It was just FM playing a textbook force-up CT side.
I spoke to Imi as well, and he was like, my calling was strong. The only problem I have is versus the anti-ecos. I mean,
it shows.
It's no BM, but what I'm saying is, what if that plays in the back of his mind? Going into further anti-ecos, I mean, if in your head you're thinking, you know what, I'm so good in these gun rounds, but these anti-ecos I keep calling wrong, I mean, that could affect potentially the full buy rounds as well.
Already the first duel is going to be lost, just first man to hit the deck, and who is next in line? This Endpoint already getting a bit of a rough start. Early damage to be inflicted off the back of a frag grenade, but nothing too crazy. Just 86 HP for Imi, but amounts that are very easily surpassed. Max is going to get himself down in towards Secret, but having almost a second take, as he decides to get himself back out towards outside, and from there, just going to whip on those running shoes to try to work out where is the best place for him to head as Laza nearly being given an opportunity to get himself a frag, and not only that, make some money. But again, second choices, just rehabilitating those decisions, which is certainly not a positive for Endpoint in this scenario. Frankly, a lot of the times we've nearly saw them push.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to get some frags.
But right now, Jenko isn't playing outside, and he is above on Heaven. But Max as well, sneaking up. Does Jenko expect this? Yes, he does. It's a smart play here. Max on the rafters now coming in towards Heaven. Jenko holding the line. Does he hear him? Not quite yet, but he suspects it. Max so hesitant. He wants Jenko to peek first, but now here comes the first frag in favor of the T's, and now Izio as well to find the backup. Robin falls, and now he sprays down the second player. Take that back because Stanley finds 2. Pulse as well turns this into a 1 versus 2 for Laza. He has the bomb, and currently the A site has 1 smoke to play with as well. He can potentially use this, but Pulse coming fast around the corner will take him down. Endpoint, they lose the force buy.
Snuds, do me a favor here, because I'm always just shocked by shock. What on earth was I watching up in Heaven? That should have been a simple draw. That the minute that kind of failed, we just saw the complete biting point for the T side, where we saw Ezio fly up in, get himself that double kill. The impact alone makes that from a round that should have been pretty cut and dry to well and truly doable.
I mean, generally what you see when the T's peek that Heaven area, they jump on the railings, so it's an off angle. I think Jenko was maybe pre-aiming that, and then Mighty Max came at a different angle than what he's expecting. Obviously, that instant headshot came through and absolutely decimated him, and definitely changed the outcome of that round, because Ezio with the follow-up found 1 frag onto Robin. Even though Stanley found 2 from below Heaven, eventually he was traded out. And then Luz in the 1 versus 2 didn't quite manage to win it. Obviously, under so much pressure there, has the bomb down, but the players are already so close.
Well, one thing is certain, looks like we are struck yet again by the unfortunate blow that is a technical pause. So we are going to be heading back in this one, hopefully relatively soon. But in the meantime, it does give us an opportunity to kind of work down what we've seen, which it has been a sound issue. I think we'll let that one pass. It's 2-1. We've already covered a fair bit of what we've seen. Can we just almost reflect, or not necessarily reflect, that doesn't actually fit. Let's look at the future.
Well, to reflect a little bit, obviously coming down to that 1 force buy from FM, winning that round and having 4 stay alive really does change the outcome moving on forward into the future, because having 4 alive makes a massive difference on your CT economy, and on nuke, nades are so important. For the player outside, initially, Jenko's going to be the AWP outside, smoke off towards the T area of outside and hold the line there of the AWP. The early Molotov towards Heart from the player that goes up Heaven. flashes, the counter flashes, the smokes for B, obviously smoking off the bomb, smoking off the double doors, the new double doors on the toxic room as well. That's a quite nice change.
Well, talking about changes, you talk about this outside hold. You know, I look at Nuke and I think one of the most important things on the CT side is outside. Especially with just
100%.
for one player, you're drawn to so many different locations.
I play outside myself. Yeah, I op outside myself. It's not easy. You've got silo to watch, you've got the rafters outside to watch, you've got secret to watch, and the back of a main to watch.
Well, just to almost interject off that point, let's talk about silo, because correct me if I'm wrong, now you've looked at the changes, you dug into this earlier on.
This is crazy, yeah.
This silo change, this plays right into the core of Endpoint.
Which call it bollard, yellow bollard? The little, like the little yellow pillars, yellow bollards,
the thing.
they've been removed. So no longer can you jump on that and peek towards silo from outside garage if you are the CT AWPer or the CT player. Instead, you have to go behind garage and hold it that way, and it just makes your job so much harder for the outside player.
Yeah, we talk about how well spread he is in terms of responsibility.
Yep.
Is that something that we see teams directly respond to now? Like FM, for example, does that just kind of play into their strat, or do they just go, you know what, that's your job as one player, you just need to really nail it down to perfection?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing is comms, okay? If the smokes come out, you don't even have to hear anything. You saw Endpoint when they previously played Nuke versus FM. They would throw the outside smokes and they would shift walk around outside, not to give away any information. They could be going secret, they could be on rafters, they could be right outside our main. The outside player has no idea, and the reason being is when you don't give away the information, it puts so much pressure on Jenko, that outside player. And as I mentioned before, it's all about comms, saying they could be ramp, they could be A main, all those important factors.
The little fun ones, and I think, you know, we talk about the little fun ones as well. There is that one position, if you go from the T-side point of view, you walk right past Silo, and I don't really know if it's got a corner or a name to it, but it's that little corner you can tuck yourself in right under Silo.
A one and done situation, really.
Very much one and done, but that came in the back on Nuke.
Then again, it is LAN. Obviously, these players haven't got the best sound. There is obviously.
I think that's the issue at hand.
Yeah, I think that is the issue right now. Bad sound. But obviously, when you haven't got the loudest sound, obviously all those things, all those factors going in, a silenced M4 in a one and done position, you could easily find 2 frags.
Well, I think there's got to be a method to the madness. We're not just saying this for the sake of it. We're not just trying to fill time. Though we've actually seen this stuff because we've seen it. We've seen it between these two teams. That position was brought to the table. Were there a couple of other things? Because one position that really comes to mind for FM was
is the B
Heaven.
secret.
Heaven was actually something that kind of really stings out for me as going, okay, how did they get so much done from Heaven?
Are we talking the Ts or the CTs?
From a T-side perspective.
Previously when they played, it was actually Jenko, actually Robin. Do you remember Robin playing on the upper rafters on the yellow platform, which has actually been changed now after the update, but he was playing there and he used to hold Heaven very, very well. Obviously that's changed a little bit. The ratings don't really make too much of a difference, but when they previously played, Heaven was very well held by Robin. So maybe that might change, and maybe that could be the linchpin to find Endpoint their second win on Nuke for FN, if they can let Heaven slip.
We talk about kind of both sides of the coin, T-side taking it, CT side holding it. You know, I don't want to deny you wanted to talk about the B side. You said that was a favourite.
Not the B side, but when we saw them play previously, one of the big issues was Jenko not giving the information early enough that there could be players going towards steps and secret. And you saw the late rotations towards vent. And if the T players already get down secret and they already get close towards vent, and then therefore when the CTs drop, that's round over.
Well, comms ever so important. Really got to make sure you're on the ball with that one. And hopefully, in regards to comms, we can get them sorted, because that, again, the unfortunate issue that has struck us.
Hopefully we're ready very soon.
Yeah, I'm just trying to really drill down now on what we can refer to on Nuke. I think FM, we talked about Heaven, we talked about that B side from Endpoint's perspective. Looking down the players, we've got, of course, Pulse.
We can still talk about the play, not the players, but the teams.
This is kind of where I want to go into and talk about the teams, but why not talk about the teams with the map at hand? So Pulse, let's just drill down on him specifically.
Plays A side. He's one of the fast rotators towards the B through the vent area, and actually it was Ezio that kept catching Pulse off guard when they previously played. He's also the player that plays towards Heart, on top of Heart, watching that squeaky door, and probably the most important factor and most important player on that A site.
Well, one thing you've done for me, and I was hoping you got this, but you played right into the hands of the question, because you talked about Ezio catching him off guard. Now that
Ezio,
that for me, that strings, okay, Pulse, room for improvement. That needs to be repaired.
It was. Only 2 rounds. It happened 2 rounds, and then following that, FM really did get back on the ball on that one. The rotations were a lot better, but are we ready to go yet? They're saying good luck, have fun. They're saying we're ready. We're not on pause just yet.
Anytime now. Cross your fingers. It will happen.
So, looking into this round, actually, if we can. Still, money on FM's side. It's not the best. 1.5k on a few of those players. 4k onto Neilzinho. And the save, the unarmored Ts right now for Endpoint. They are going to be saving to the next round. And actually, one thing to bring up is, yes, Loza will have the AWP. And when Loza has the AWP, typically, generally goes on top of silo, peeks up towards that garage area, which I mentioned before isn't there anymore because the little bollard has been removed. But right now, this might be a field day for Jenko if they go outside.
Let's see if Jenko is going to be able to get himself an early Christmas present, perhaps a gift that he's going to be more than happy to accept, as Robin will find the first cuts down Imi. Berries,
Did he give
Pulse
the
a second. How is he getting away with this, Jenko? And Pulse.
That could have been crazy.
Endpoint, they're just going to fall over. They're just going to let it happen. The fifth round.
I mentioned communication right there. Jenko's got a lot on his plate. As soon as he sees the smoke comes out, he gives the call, players outside. He's battling one player. Does he expect that one player to push in and wrap around through a main? No, he doesn't. I mentioned Pulse likes to play on top of Hut. And as I just mentioned there, Pulse does fall there. Only one frag for the full eco, no bomb down. So actually quite a major win there for FM. But leading into this round, Lazar does have the orb. And positioning himself, generally does like to go on top of the silo. And once again, he is there. Does the pre-aim angle, as I mentioned before. And actually, no, I don't think Jenko shall peek into that. But I don't think the angle's there anymore.
Yeah, I'm always rather glad that he's not bearing down on setup because he was able to really pick apart the CT side in the past. As Jenko is just going to be tithering around with his feet. Doesn't want to show too much, of course. As really just actually not going to be facing solo. Well, now I like this from Jenko. Just make sure he covers his bases but doesn't overface in the same regard. Allow himself to be just picked off bit by bit, meaning that the T side can't just pluck their way through a CT side default. But
He's
can't talk about Neil.
He's kept the UMP here for stairs, and it's not really the best angle for an SMG. You really want to rifle hit. No smokers want to play it because it's just finished, and now the spray comes through. They're running for the Molotov. Gets one. Can he get any more? They know exactly where he is. Now has to reload and fall back, and he can give the information. You can see the players already rotating in, and this is where the round unfolds.
Him to sit tight in that corner, there will be a bit more of an aiding factor. Robin still as well, the thorn in the side. He can push in at any particular moment, but Max, he gets the frag on towards Neil, and we talked about almost dismantlement of a CT side default. This right here is where it begins as Endpoint. They don't need to commit. Yes, there are 35 seconds on the clock, but they can quite easily do exactly what they're doing right now. Get themselves back out of secret and dive straight in towards main.
Oh,
this Molotov, it needs to be perfect. Ezio as well now looking to really make the best of things. Pulse, work cut out, but he is going to fail. Only one pick, and one is not quite enough. Max and Jess, they will combine. It's going to be the headshots. The plant is going to go down. And Jenko, he's modeled off from heaven. Stanley, he needs to be the game changer. He needs to make the play from Squeaky. He can head in through Hut as well, but nonetheless, he needs the picks. But he's at a crossfire with three players facing towards him.
Right now it's Max and Ezio holding the Hut position and Lazar holding the other angles. Actually, Lazar does find Jenko, caught off guard though by Stanley. But Jess with the fast refrag there. The refrags right now for Endpoint are on point. Apart from the initial frag, when they ran through the molly, fair game, you know, Nils only did fall back with the UMP, caught them off guard. But that refrag onto Pulse was instant. Imi was traded instantly, and that just gave up the A-bomb side. Jenko there, I mentioned he could have stopped the plant. It was my bad. He actually planted behind the A silo there, so he couldn't have stopped it there. So once the molly came in, he fell back. But in my opinion, right there, when the molly came in, you have to make the play. Push the Molotov, try to make it a 2 versus 2, and then fall back.
Has to be said about the plant spot. As it may be a piece of misinformation in the same regard, it's nice adaptation from Endpoint. They make the call that is better suited for them getting that safe plant. Much safer off as it is going to be a quick 1-for-1 trade to blast us straight back into our 6th round. Of course, FM, they still have a whole lot of weaponry to employ, and most notably, Jenko, AWP, but is he going to be able to find that pick? We talked about how important it was in the previous round for Endpoint.
Lazar's still holding the exact same angle, playing very passive this time. He has no reason to play aggressive when right now the passivity is working for them. Allow his teammates with the rifles to get those trade frags onto the site and have your AWP in the retake. You saw he was holding heaven and gets that one frag, and that's all he needs, that one kill in the afterplant.
Max needs to be very, very careful in how he approaches, almost looking like he wants to go for a bit of a push, a bit of a cheeky one, but this could just be a bit disastrous if he doesn't do this together. He needs Jess to be with him here. They have to be this beautiful pairing. Max is going to begin his journey. Spots out a player, but is that going to be enough? Yet again, Robin finds one from heaven. He should almost certainly be knocked on down. Ezio going to make the job happen. Lazar with a quick one with the AWP, and this is just a bloodbath for Endpoint. It's still a 2v1 with Stanley, a player that can make this work, but it's a 2v1 nonetheless with a smoke being dropped right into Stanley's warpath.
Constant refrags, but I can talk about that after this round has finished. Stanley flashing through the Hut. They know exactly where he is now. And Mighty Max peeking from the back of... Actually, no, that's from heaven there. That was from the rafters area, so seals the deal there. That's set up pretty impossible to lose at that position. Holding the crossfire there, and once again, the trade frags from Endpoint are so key. Robin falling off of heaven, finds one frag, but falls into the Molotov and burns.
I think it's enough time as well. I'm looking at that from, just look at the amount of time we saw on our side of things, just almost a dead set stare at Robin for a good 5 or 6 seconds, which that in Counter-Strike, that's a whole lot of time.
5 seconds
rotates
is more
to
than
roll
enough.
on through.
Yep. You really do underestimate how far you can run in just 5 seconds in this game. But once again, the one kill from Lazar sealing the deal. That's all he needs to do. He's not here for the first picks. He's not here for the aggressive plays. And right now, the player that is here for the aggressive plays is Jesp. He does find that kill onto Robin. Max as well did find Jenko, and it's Nilzinho towards the B steps, battling Jesp, but Jesp with the AK and the armor does win that one. But Stanley with a nice headshot there, the 5-7, does end Ezio. And right now, if they can find another kill, maybe onto Imi, he's only 7 HP, and he's playing outside as well. If they can take one more gun out of the T's hands, maybe might not be the end of the world.
One more gun, I think, would be the ideal way to look at things, much more of an opportunistic path. But at the end of the day, for now, it's just Pulse, perching himself in that vent, and looking at the map, looking around him. Does have the opportunity, and there you have it, grass straight on towards Imi's skull. Gets himself that rifle on his back, and for now, running shoes, they need to be on, sprint away into the hills, save that into the next round. And as much as FM, they tug on our heartstrings by having to be on these pistols,
they didn't lose the anti-eco.
And they don't lose the anti-ecos as well,
it's
which
important.
is a point in itself. Pulse with the rifle, I don't think that's going to be changing too much in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
But I'm excited because of just how back and forth it's been. It's 3 for 3. It's soon to, of course, change up to that 3 to 4 marker. But nonetheless, FM, they were a team that are known for being able to battle things back and forth. We actually saw that in previous series with them.
I mean, right now for FM, if they do lose this round and they're on pistols once again, Endpoint, they're going to be charging ahead in the lead going into this first half, and it's the T half. So far, it's the team play from Endpoint that's really outshining what FM have to offer. Yes, they have such strong individual players, but they're players, they're not a team. Endpoint right now, they have 5 solid set of players, and they're working as a team. And it's definitely showing in terms of their trades. Just now trying to get information towards the outside area, and this might actually catch Jenko off guard. Let's see what he can work here, though. Jenko is still garage, flashes outside, peeks, and now Jet spots him, doesn't get the kill. He sprays him down to low HP. This makes a massive difference for Jenko now, because he can't openly reface because he's such low HP. And this could be a Max to find the first frag, and now Jet's so close towards heaven, but it's going to need Stanley to rotate and find that frag.
Yeah, very nice effort being made by Stanley there to get that quick frag, because it's a trade that actually works out in the CT side, providing they can keep a lid on it for all intents and purposes. As Endpoint, you look at their positions, they're not exactly in a place of commitment yet again, which rings rather true to the same thing we saw for them in Secret when they dive back through and towards A. So what we're looking towards now is, okay, Endpoint, where do you lie in that regard? What do you actually want to do here? What is your end goal? Which for Imi seems to be to just be this horrendous thorn yet again.
It's just, they're
he
playing
can be cut
slow.
down by timing. It has to be said, just look to the left of him almost.
Right now, Endpoint, they're playing slow. They know that eventually the CTs are going to have to push for information. You might see Pulse get a little bit aggressive here. If he wants the information a little bit later on, and Imi, he's just waiting for it. All of these T players right now holding these angles. They're waiting for someone to push somewhere. And if that happens, they're holding the angles right now. They want the CTs to peek them, but right now, it's going to be the T to peek him, but the timing works in his favor. The refrag comes up, it's going to be Imi to find 2, and the A site is open, but the bomb is planted B.
Endpoint.
Imi's on A.
What on earth actually is this, Imi? You need to get on the site. The bomb is being stuck.
As a
It's
kit
going to
as
get
well.
defused.
Can he get the trade?
Does he have time? Oh,
That was
Imi.
so close.
Imi, my heart, my friend, it goes out to you, but that... You've got balls, I'll give you that, but that was not quite the play you were looking for.
Imi is the known lurker for Endpoint, right? And obviously, one of the hardest things of being a lurker is watching your team just collapse next to you without you being able to do anything. I mean, you've got to be thinking as well, Endpoint, where were the trades? Bomb is planted B. You're in the after plant situation, the after plant positions. Where are the frags and the trade, especially the trade frags? FM, they find all the kills on B, and it leaves Imi in the 1 versus 2 there. He finds a kill towards heaven and the kill onto A site, and now look at Jenko's repositioning. Very smart play here. Has no AWP, so instead he's going to allow these players to walk into his crosshair. Now sprays them down. Doesn't quite connect just yet, but he will finish him off. And that's a great change to his game plan there, but obviously the T's right now, they're expecting maybe Secret and Stats might be open.
I think something that does still play into FM's hand, should we say, is that as much as it may be a change in terms of where that first frag is heading, one thing that Endpoint really aren't changing is the pace. They're keeping it very slow and very, very structured, and that could be a negative, but FM, a couple of small mistakes here.
That smoke again.
Holding them off guard. That smoke is going to go down, but those nades, 7 HP nil, right by the skin of his teeth, is going to get away, drops down a return party popping flash, but that may not be enough to save his life.
It's the old faithful stairs, and actually him being low HP isn't that bad. 7 HP, he's playing a headshot angle towards those stairs, so if Mighty Max wants to take Nilzinho, he's most likely going to have to headshot him, so HP doesn't really matter too much. Unless Nilzinho faces a little bit too much, but we shall see very shortly as he's holding the angle. But a flurry of frags happen. It's a 2 for 2. The trades once again, but Max gets caught off guard by Robin. That's a nice shot there. Lazar now with the bomb in the 1 versus 2, 20 seconds. And he saw Robin go back up that vent, so he might actually think B's open. But the problem is, though, Robin is still here towards the vent area. He needs to fight off Robin first, get the bomb down, and then play off that. 9 seconds, though. Robin's peeking! And actually, Lazar shall fall. If you got that kill, got the bomb down with that smoke, we could have been seeing a very clutch round there.
It's a whole load of what-ifs, though, which I think at the end of the day, it's almost a throwback to that Imi scenario when we saw him in that 1v2, just trying to play for the round, went off the back of that double kill and doesn't quite get it with the bomb. It's just like it was in that scenario. Okay, what if Imi peaks quicker? What if he flung out 5 seconds earlier? It's that same sort of regard. At the end of the day, what's
a lot
happened
of what
has
ifs,
happened.
but it's 2020 vision. We know what's happened, right? Imi made the correct play there. The whole team made the correct play there. It's just the execution didn't quite work out for them. But smokes towards outside. It's a wall of smoke, so that does allow them to go towards the red crate and maybe go for a fast steps play. But Jenko spots the information. He's given the information. You see the rotation. Nilzinho is already there. He's left ramp. And he smokes earlier, actually. This is a more aggressive smoke, expecting a fast play. And this actually does maybe catch Endpoint off guard and really does hold off a lot of the map pressure that maybe the T's were expecting to get for free.
I do look at this one and go, okay, well, the smoke, yes, but after that, they return flurry of frag grenades and flashes and such. That's a bit of a different affair, because that almost basically says to me, if I'm a T, yep, there's a guy sitting here close, ready and waiting, he's almost trying to bait me. That's just hanging a carrot on a stick.
Questionable here, standing up and exposing your whole body. Let's see what happens, though. Spots them, falls back now. Good decision, but doesn't go down the ramp. He might be caught off guard here. Puts the Molotov away, now the players drop into his crosshairs, sprays that one. Can he get any more for his time? No, he can't. The instant trade comes up from Jess. And now it's Imi towards the steps area. Nilzinho's left. Robin's in the vent area. Thank the Lord, because if he wasn't there fast, this could have been a very, very fast round for Endpoint. But Jenko and Pulse finding frags. Robin does catch Imi, as I just previously mentioned. That fast rotate not working in his favor, and Mighty Max dropping down, falls. It's another round for FM, 2 in the lead now. Endpoint, though, you can't be complaining. 4 rounds already. There are still, 4 more rounds to play. Sorry, 5 more rounds to play. What am I on about?
I think I'm looking at FM and I'm going, there is this double-edged sword in terms of just this close level of play, because you look at both of these teams, in previous matchups we've seen them go neck and neck, and that slow style, FM, it both works for them, but also when they try and find the values off of these 1-for-1 trades, usually Stanley there, that could have went vastly different. So I'm a big fan of what they're able to get working, but whether it's going to be consistent, a whole different story, of course. Looking at this round, so far so good for them. Don't really want to read too much into it, because they should be able to knock this one out.
Right now it's just about not dying, saving your guns. Jenko's low HP with the AWP. Don't face, just save that $7,000 investment. But to touch on what you're just saying there, Endpoint, the slow, steady was working. Yes, you did lose that round where you planted B, but the thought was right. It's just the execution wasn't. That's fine. I mean, you can keep rolling with the slow, steady play. Previously, before Jess joined the lineup, Max and Imi both shared the crown of the IGL. Max would call the fast plays, Imi would call the slow, steady defaults, more of the tactical style. And what we saw there was that fast, aggressive trade style play. The problem is that FM, they were on the ball, the fast rotations came in, the CTs, they were in the right place at the right time, and Endpoint, they were caught off guard there.
There has to be the counterpoint to Endpoint, though. As much as it may be slow, it may be calculated. If they don't have any strategies, if they don't have much knowledge of the map, what is there to go off? How much research do they even have on Nuke? It's a tough one. When we talk about getting going, that right there is Max just dropping it straight into a hat and saying, here you go, Jenko. Perfect way to start off your round. And, well, they need to be able to hold off the ramp. That's a given. Stanley, work cut out. Doesn't need to get a 1-for-1 trade in this scenario. Should just back off and actually get value from his position. But actually, he decides, I'm going to sit tight on that corner. But thankfully, praise the Lord, he goes back towards B.
And right now, if you are the CTs, just play a strong trade game. If you have one player step up and find 2 frags, that's great. But right now, FM eSports, they need to go 1-for-1 because they do have the 1-man lead right now. Don't throw away any more kills. Don't throw away your frag. Stanley right now in these double doors. Let's see, finds one. That's what they need. Oh, finds the second one. Can they get any more sprays? Down the third. Jess falls as well. Phenomenal round here for Stanley. Lazar does find him down the 1 versus 5, but caught off guard there by Robin on the fast rotate through vent. And FM, they win another one with 4 players alive.
It all comes down to Stanley's decision-making. If he stuck by ramp and tried to go for that same old 1-for-1 that he's done in many rounds in the past, yet again, would have been a complete different narrative that we would have followed. But no, he makes the decision, albeit a little bit late, but makes it nonetheless to fall back to the side, get himself in that room, and from there, well, we saw what happened. A beautiful 3K from him. Endpoint just dropping right into his hands, literally.
I mean, right now, Endpoint's calling, not the calling, but the strategy isn't working. They're going to change that now, change of pace. The fast play comes up, the Molotov comes in and Pulse now towards the 8 side. Can he mow them down? Finds one, keep spraying. Tackles the last play.
Pulse, you absolute monster. Triple kill for him. He will get shut down, but has he done enough? 11 HP onto Oslaughter. He's next in line on the chopping block. Imi, 18, the low HP. It's going to be the blunt point. Pulse, backed up of his teamwork alone. FM, they will make it happen. That right there, that was beautiful. How was he even allowed to stay alive?
How is he not dead? He's got time to spray one play down to low HP. Like, you're not dead yet, mate. Put his crosshair there, spray him down again.
You don't play aggressive against FM eSports, and this right now, this is the time for the pause. Imi, he's straight in there. He's going to pull it. And it's got to be said, I think this is good timing for Endpoint. Just take a breather for a minute. Just take a reset.
I mean, the fact he has time to adjust his crosshair, be like, wait a minute, you're not dead? Kill you now instead. So, 9-4 right now. When we previously saw these two teams play, obviously, Endpoint had a very good T side, and right now, they're not showing the same. Maybe they're playing the same sort of, I don't want to say strats sort of thing, because when they played before, they'd never played me before. Maybe that's actually playing into their head. The fact that they never played it before, so they're going in fresh, and everything was working for them. Going into this one now, do you think they've really, well, obviously they practiced Nuke, but do you think they've actually gone over it?
I think it depends on how you look at practicing a map, right?
Yep.
Because for a lot of teams, they go about it in different ways. Some, they just kind of really drill down on a specific default and make sure that is pinpoint perfect.
Yep.
Others, they focus on specifically executes. And I'm looking at Endpoint, we constantly, like throughout this entirety of this first map, we've rated one huge point in this cast. It is the slow style of Endpoint.
And that's fine.
Now, as much as I almost feel like you don't know what you're going to get into, the slow style is good. When you've only practiced defaults, when you get put up against a wall by a team like FM eSports,
yeah, for sure.
It's bloody well damn hard to climb on over because you don't have anything to resort to. They have to go for something off the fly that they haven't rehearsed, and that right there is where the mistakes appear.
So the reason the slow and steady play is working, or does work for Endpoint, is because their team play is so strong. The way they play their T side, they are so close netted together. You saw the players always there to trade frag each other, and that is so important. You don't really see that too much in UKCS, to be fair.
I think it is a rarity. It's why Endpoint are one of my favorite teams in the grand scheme of things, just off that ability to trade. But the angry point is literally the fact that you may be able to trade. You may have these really nice defaults.
If Stanley and Pulse are finding 3Ks like that.
Yeah, if they're finding those 3Ks, and if you're not able to change things up with an execute or with an aggressive play, and then when you try and make it work, you get shut down by Pulse, who is completely blind, still making a spray work that was extremely rough. Then it has to be said, are we talking about Pulse? Well, Pulse, enjoy the double kill. Keep on going, whip out the USP, tap away on towards him. He's even more hungry. He's looking for his fourth. Max is going to finally say, you know what, I think you've eaten enough, Pulse. You need to take a break for a second. Head on back home. As Neil, he's going to close it out with a double kill for himself. Nice and quick, and Endpoint, they had some money in that round.
Quasi-buy.
But it's deleted yet again.
Final round right now on 2 players on FM side. Look at that. Jenko 13K in his full board. Neil Zinho just under 15,000. So you can really see how one-sided these rounds have been. I mean, it's not close.
Well, you can see when FM got into their stride, we're talking 7 rounds back-to-back in a row for a CT side. Yeah,
and 4 or 3 players staying alive is so important for your economy. But right now, economy doesn't mean anything because it's the final round, and all that matters is those frags. Amy finds the first.
Stanley, AWP, now over towards ramp, playing close to this door. Has his work cut out in the grand scheme of things with just a quick flurry of players dropping towards his direction. Is he going to go for the no-scope? Well, he's deleted by Jeff, a snapping headshot by the hands of a Tech 9. But the huge point, the one that is almost the elephant in the room, Endpoint. They've got themselves onto a site. They've got the bomb down.
And the man
we actually have to see FM on a retake, Snods. It's actually happening. Can Endpoint make this work?
Right, kits and nades. They do have on the CT side right now. Neil's only waiting for that smoke to fade. It's going to be Jess with the AWP this time. Laza on the AK finds that afterplant frag, and Jenko now with the AWP trying to get the quickscope in. Jesper's whiffing right now, and now Jenko somehow finds that frag, and it's going to be Jenko on the 1 versus 3. Whiffs another quickscope. Does fall. Ezio finds him with a Colby nade. Does drop 10-5. Endpoint, they find the final one. I mean, Stanley towards ramp. He's playing it like it's a rifle.
Playing it like it's a rifle, but maybe it's reading into it a bit too much, but it's got to be said, when Endpoint actually get on towards the site, you see almost a much easier style of CS from them. That was ballpark for them.
I'm thinking Jess probably had the better spawn, and that's why he had the AWP. But then again, right now, the AWP on the T-side nuke, it feels like the CT-sided AWP has such a big advantage holding those angles that the use of the AWP is smoke off outside, flash off outside, get into those after plants, and get that one kill to seal the round. And enough of that, because we are onto the pistol right now, and somehow Jenko's gone down vent and worked his way towards the B site right now, and actually playing Nuke with him. He does say that the player with the best spawn needs to go down vent and try and work magic. And right now it's all up to Jenko. Can he find the first frag here? Trying to find one of these CT players rotating in, but it's going to be, I'm not too sure which player that is, but they have a very good position. Ezio right now on top of him, and Luz is pushed outside. He's caught off guard by Robin.
Laza, he pushes so far. He takes the whole idea of being pushed to go aggressive. One step to the limit. Ezio right back on towards Jenko, leaving it to a bit of a one-for-one affair. So value to be claimed as FM straight back into action. Stanley snaps on towards Emmy, but
this
is it going to be
pistol as
enough?
well. So important, this pistol round. 10-5.
Look at Heaven. This is almost normal for Endpoint now. They're going to try and use this double prong attack from Heaven to find these headshots. Maxi's just going to bide his time, wait for that smoke to fade. Jess doesn't need to die at all in this scenario because he's got that kit. That's pretty much what the make it or break it style of this round is going to be. But the headshots, they need to be landed, but the shots... Oh no. Endpoint, you had the setup, you had something that we believed in. But the USBs, they
have a kit and a nade though, but the thing is, he's going to stick it, maybe he can get body block by Max. I'm not too sure. The first frag comes in. Can they get the final one? Body block. One shot, one kill. He needs to find it right now. Body block comes in, but Pulse, he does find 2 frags for himself. Secures the round. That's the second pistol going in favor of FM, and we saw what happened when Endpoint won their first pistol. Instantly, the force by win for the CT side. Can Endpoint do the same as FM did to them only a couple rounds ago?
Certainly is a lot on the line. Want to get this first map into their back pocket. FM, of course, going to be looking to equalize the standings in this BO5. Because FM, they are pretty much set to train out on towards the side. Stanley, the first Jess, will respond, but a handshake left unanswered by the T side as Max will try and fight on back. Another headshot right with the CZ, but
he can catch you off guard here.
It's going to be back enough. Jess, right on the cusp of greatness. But it's not a first and not the last. But is he going to be able to seal the deal and actually make it work? Actually do something in Counter-Strike? The answer so far is going to be yes. Gets himself that pick, leaving Robin ever so low. 21 HP, but Imi is going to shoot him right in the back, and from there,
time as well.
A defuse. Easy for him to find.
What on earth was that?
That was kind of hard to keep track of.
On top of Hut, finds one, drops down, gets into Hut, somehow goes into lobby. Just swap positions, why not?
I'm glad you can work out really what went on there.
And I'm here again.
It's kind of all just a bit of a blur.
Yeah, I mean, he's in Hut. Smoke comes in. He's through the smoke, catches, I believe that was Robin off guard. Oh, not Robin, sorry. I'm not sure which player it was that died first in that 2 versus 2, but Robin in the 1 versus 2 drops down right into the crosshair of Imi. Seals the deal, gets the defuse in without a kit. So, the force buy though, coming up from FM. We've seen the force buys going in favor of both teams now. Let's see if we can see a team go in the lead right now. These force buys. Max gets caught off guard by Stanley. Luz with the AWP though, does find the first frag for the CTs towards outside. Can he get any more down for himself though?
A surprise element has been plentiful for the T side so far, but Laza, he's going to have himself an easy frag on towards Stanley, looking for a second, but he misses the shot. Laza trying to go aggressive, trying to make it work at the back of a position that is being well and truly forced upon him. But is he able to get it done? Don't shoot your teammate. Not like this. As Jenko going to find himself completely blind, shaking around the place as he explodes in quick succession. Laza going to end him with the USP. But what Counter-Strike is this? What are we watching as Laza is going to find the final frag on towards Nil?
Is Luz's first LAN? I mean, imagine that. Your first LAN you play, you shoot your teammate. You kill your teammate. Then again, he didn't. Well? Just Nerves of Steel on Luzza. Great play there. The massive 4K right there. If he didn't find those frags and FM took that round, I mean, this could be GG already on the first map. And talk about maps, Endpoint have the first map advantage as they did come in to this best of 5 with 1 map lead because they did win playoffs with that first seed. So FM, they need 3 maps to win. And this initial map is going to be so important for them to win because it is their first map pick. And following this map is Cash, I believe. And Endpoint, very strong on Cash. They beat FM on it as well to take that first seed. And Imi playing far back. It's been Jess to be tested right now. Sprays down 1. Can he get any more? Pulls out the USP and falls back. Right now he's being pushed quite aggressively. Finds 1. Finds the 3rd with the USP. Can he get any more?
He's getting so much.
His teammate apparently, that's 1.
Yeah, teammates.
Go for the knife! Oh. Imagine that.
Why not go for an? You talk about that actual team kill. We actually saw that in the same series, I believe, with these two players on Nuke. So I'm not quite sure whether it was Laz or
It's
who
just
it
Nuke,
was,
isn't it?
but Nuke apparently the map of team damage has been coined over here at UK Masters.
Let's take a look at the frags, actually. We haven't looked at kills just yet. Jesp leading the charge. Obviously did have 3 kills there versus unarmored opponents, so can't really look into that too much, but 20 kills on him, 4 on Ezio, 4 for 15, and he is playing towards A as well. He's going to have to be a rock and a cement block right now on this A side if he wants to hold FM leading into the second half.
FM, they, in the previous round, had to rocket with their Glocks out. That didn't quite work out for them, but this time, in a much more comfortable spot. They've got their rifles, they've got the old faithful 5 AK-47s. Not necessarily the most utility, not necessarily the most bountiful at that, but they have enough to get themselves on towards a site in something like an execute. Are they going to get the job done? Certainly a different question in itself, but...
If this is a slow round and a slow default, this might play into the hands of Endpoint because they are the masters of the slow play. Max catches Neilzinho off guard alone. I know. And already there's another frag there. Imi finds 2. Imi finds 3 frags for him. Shuts down that ramp push. We're already seeing Pulse in the 1 versus 5 I mentioned before. Endpoint, they want FM to play the slow and steady style because under Imi, that's what they're great at.
It's a throwback to the first half because Endpoint, the minute they started playing fast and aggressive, FM were like, you know what? Thank you for sitting here. We're gonna take your fast aggressive style. We're gonna shut you down, and we're gonna stop pulling on ahead in the scoreline. But Endpoint, they've reeled it back in, and they've said, you know what?
Pace.
Now you're gonna play back to the way we want. Now you are gonna slow down. And the minute that happens, the rounds, they have gone in favor of one team or one team only. It has been Endpoint. I was going to ask you, do you think the comeback can happen? But it's almost pointless at this point.
Sure.
You don't even need to answer. The scoreline, it's 11-9. You look at the economy of FM. They've got Tech 9s, but they should just be shut down. This should be textbook for Endpoint. Throw out the nades, do the damage.
It's a good volley.
Should be 11-10.
No armor as well onto these players. And last time we saw Imi here, he found 3. But the T's, after what happened in the previous round, they're a bit scared this time. They do get cold feet and they rotate slowly back from ramp. And now they are going back into lobby. We could be seeing the A hit here. The A hit here. Bit of a twist of words there, but Robin first through the vent. Can he catch Imi off guard here?
I won't be able to catch Max, I think that may be, but nonetheless, I'm looking at this from Endpoint's perspective. This is playing right into their hands. This is a slow adaptation of Tech 9s. Not quite when you go to 4, is Robin just going to be presented with a nice body pile, you know. Everyone wants a body in the morning for breakfast, apparently. Max going to find himself a quick pick on towards Robin, and bit by bit, FM eSports, they are getting dismantled. The Tech 9s try to get close and personal. They had an aggressive touching point, but what do?
Jesp there, literally sending Pulse 6 feet under there to his grave in the vent. Actually, wait, there's a CT player there. How did he catch them? Anyway, it doesn't matter because Ezio is on the ball, finds 2 frags, but Stanley catches Lazar outside, finds that kill, has the orb. I mean, if he can save this, that'd be great, but they know exactly where he is, so save probably not on the cards just yet.
Stanley has a dream, Snods. Don't wreck his dream. He wants to save that AWP.
RIP Dream, obviously Weber and Cryptic's filling in for him. Hopefully seeing how they'll do later on into Insomnia 59 land, but this is UK Masters, enough of that. Max does find Stanley and Stanley falls.
Fortunately, Stanley's dreams will be ripped apart from him and, well, a disappointing way to go about it, but nonetheless, Economy, FM, they're not in a rough point. They're not quite going to get an AWP up. They are going to opt for 5 AK-47s instead. They've got the utility, much more comfortable standpoint for them overall, so by all means nothing for them to complain about. Endpoint,
gosh, Jess.
Got to be said, they're building things up. Lazar
playing so well so far. But for me, the MVP of that previous gun round was Imi finding those 3 frags towards that ramp, and obviously on the full eco, you know, frags aren't really that most important. It's more about not dying. You saw how many players there for Endpoint stayed alive and the economy for them. Observer, if we could take a look at the money for the CT side right now, I mean, look at that. 11K, 8K, 8K, 6K, give or take, 9,000 on Jess. I mean, right now, Endpoint, they're here to the end.
I do want to draw one comparison though, because we saw how many rounds came together for FM on their CT side. Endpoint, should we say, they're turning the tides and doing a bit of a similar thing. I think it's 5 at the moment that we're up to.
Yep.
If they can keep on turning this bound back on its head, it's
1.
looking good. But a 1-for-1 trade, Max is going to fight back with just another one towards Pulse. The positions from FM are solid, but the CT side, they are combining. Endpoint, wow, the beast was tickled, and now it is well and truly away, because yet again, a quick and easy slap from them, and FM are wiped from the map. It's all down to Stanley, a 1v4. The odds are ever so stacked against his Vader. There's no way he can make that work.
They did not expect Jess right there above Hart on the rafters, finds another 3K for him.
The 3Ks are real in this matchup.
I mean, Ezio, he did find those 2 eco frags in the previous rounds. He was 6 for 16. He does die first, but he got Max there for the instant reply, and then Jesp following everything up with that massive 3K onto the A-bomb site.
There's value out of Ezio, though. As much as he may have, you know, a scoreline that you look at and go, you know what, that's actually not that great.
As long as he's being traded, as long as the system works, there's no complaints.
Yeah, as long as they're getting just some sort of monetary value out of his loss.
Yep.
I'm game because it's working for them. 11-11 is the scoreline.
Game. Oh, my bad. Anyway, 11-11. 11-11 right now, 1 minute 30 on the clock. The force buy, this is a desperation play. This is desperate right now for FM. I mean, look at their money. Observer, we can take a look again at the money. This is desperation right now at its finest. FM eSports, or FM Toxic, as they were previously called. Hopefully they're not being too toxic right now in TeamSpeak. Have a level head, good mental.
We talked about comms at the start. You talked about how important it is. If you're toxic,
don't get frustrated towards your teammates.
Doesn't come hand in hand.
One thing that's very prevalent right now that we've seen so far is the disparity in team play. FM, you saw that attack onto A. They were just 5 individual units. They weren't a team. Talking about individuals, Robin alone in Vent trying to find a miracle. With a Tech 9 as well.
I mean, he's searching, I'll give him that. You are searching for something.
You're asking for far too much right now. He is a distraction though. You can see all those players that upper towards the A-bomb site. Hopefully they can sell this. And that pressure that Robin is in Vent, this is going to divert the attention of Ezio that is above Hut right now. And you can see the flashes come in. Let's see what happens. Through the vent he comes, and Robin falls. Ezio finds a second. Jesp as well finds a kill, and they're all alone, dying one by one. Jesp with another 2K. Lazar towards heaven. I mean, you're sat here laughing. I don't blame you, because it's like dominoes.
The rounds, just the way they're unfolding, it's unfortunate for FM, and it's brutal to watch, but the minute Endpoint woke up, they have slaughtered
it's not even,
it comes down to the
I
CT
wouldn't
side.
say it's FM.
I kind of want to look to the scoreboard right now, because if we can bring this one up, it shows how Endpoint has taken the CT side. Yes, what did we see? We saw a pistol round for FM.
You don't even need Lazar or Ezio right now, or Imi. It's Max and Jesp.
Look at that string together. I feel like I'm almost overhyping a team that have been well and truly hyped enough as is. But as much as FM put up one hell of a fight on their first half, and by all means, 7 rounds strung together in a row is no feat to demean.
This is where things get very desperate. No smoke, one flash, and Lazar getting aggressive. This is what I want to see. Hopefully the confidence from the momentum he's got. Can he find the frag? Spots one, doesn't quite pull the trigger, yet whiffs it. And now they know exactly where he is and gets sprayed down by Neilzinho. This one round could change all the momentum and change the outcome of this game.
Lazar, we were just complimenting your team, and then you try and make something work, and
there's no need to get aggressive when being passive is working.
What actually is the need for the change there? Just doesn't really feel like there was too much to be gained overall.
It could have been a call from Imi. You've got to remember as well, Imi wants to catch FM off guard. If you've been playing so many rounds stale and you want to switch things up, I mean, if Endpoint won, imagine if Lazar found 2 frags there and Endpoint took this round. In the minds of FM, they can't win aggressive, they can't win defensive. Endpoint, they're not even playing to how they normally play. Instead, they're playing our style. And aggressive for them's working, but the risk did not bear a reward, because right now, it's Imi.
Imi and Jess, they're in the crossfire, and they find 1 apiece. Now looking for just 1 more on towards Paulson from there. Stack up the body bags, because they're looking for Stanley. He's next in line to fall. It is going to be a shutdown. Robin and Stanley, they will combine. 1-for-1 affair is a solid amount for them. They get themselves a man advantage. Molotov is going to slow down Max, but look at the thorn that he can be. He gets himself the advantage in that gunfight against Stanley. Ever so low, 5 HP. Ezio just another to build on through. Robin now trying to reverse the play, but it's not quite enough. The bomb is going to be ticking on, but the CT sides are there ready and waiting. But look at how low Max is. That's enough to punish him. That's enough to buy Robin a lifeline, because now he's left in a 1v1 clutch. Ezio looking to throw that one down straight in towards Vent. It is going to pop, but the spray is enough for Robin to seal it out.
I had a point to make. I just forgot it.
It's true. Boom. It's gone. Straight in the thin air.
The team play.
There we
saw
go.
right there, Max was modded off, and Ezio did not go down Vent. He held the flash. He waited for the Molotov to go out. As soon as the Molotov went out, he flashed under the Vent, and that meant that Max would peek, catch that player off guard in Vent. Max killed that player. Ezio falls and finds the second, but enough of that because they lost that round. Lazar tags another as well. The collateral doesn't quite net him 2 frags, gets him 1 in a tag, and look how scared they are. They all fall back. And that could be the round over just based off 1 AWP shot.
Lazar has pretty much just become America, built himself a wall, and FM, they're just going to back off and they don't quite want to cross it.
Who's paying for the wall?
Well, it depends. FM eSports. It's only the first map in this BO5, but if things keep on going this direction, it could well and truly be FM.
Right, FM 12-12. We are neck and neck right now. Jenko on 11 HP, that collab that came through, decimating his HP. And if Jess can find any more frags, it's going to be toppling over that 30 bomb. And those are 30 important frags.
This is such a pivotal round as well for FM because now they've got themselves back in the running for actually contesting this scoreline. This is their momentum pretty much, just nice and well packed in towards a jar, but if they lose this round, this is where Endpoint just kind of storm on through and just a nice drive right out in the countryside for them. As it is going to be a quick push in towards Secret. The smoke, there is a gap, but no information looking like it's going to be gained by the CT side. Lazar is going to find quick pick on towards Jenko, but returned by Stanley. As he takes him down the preface, not really that bountiful in itself as Max down towards Secret. Doesn't get the advantage or the jump, but it's these one-for-one trades which Endpoint, masters of the stock market it seems, that they're just making the value out of everything. Stanley looking to pillar down through the silo over on the B site. Will find himself one at least. Can he get the second though? 11 HP. Anything could at this point tag him down. A block right to the feet can end his day. But the main four into the shoulder is enough to close it out.
Great round there from Lazar. Finds those two crucial frags. One kill early on, and that stunts the FM attack. Imagine if he missed that and died. B-bomb site would have been for the pickings for the T's. Instead, he gets that one kill on the collab, and that's more than enough. He finds the second kill towards ramp. Yes, he got a little bit aggressive there, refacing. Could have held the angle as they walked into ramp or fell down, but he's done more than enough that round. Great play there from Lazar. And definitely changes the pace for his team because right now FM, that nade.
That nade, oh my god, Imi doing so much in terms of utility. The Molotov gonna burn them down even further. A single shot's barely even been fired, and look at their HP.
Easy.
They're so damn low.
Nice and easy for Imi. Finds 2 for his time. Can he get any more though? We shall find out very shortly because we kneel Zinio towards heaven, or under heaven should I say. Jess will find him, and now we've got Pulse in a 1v5.
I do kind of want to talk about Lazar and the fact that he went for that big play towards outside and then changed it up by going towards ramp. And there is a point to add on as well, is that, you know, I actually agree with you with a fair play comment. And on one specific wavelength, for him, as much as being that kind of playmaker is all well and good, and Imi going to look to catch him off guard and push them even further into the hole, you just have to look towards him as an individual and go, you know what? Endpoint, they're having a good game as is. They are being contested by FM. They are keeping close.
For sure.
But that's what it is. It's confidence. It's building up merit for Lazar. But not only in this map, but for me, I'm looking at this as the rest of the series as well. Because if Lazar comes off of this map going, you know what? I could go aggressive, but I could also play defensive. I could still make it work. I could still hit my shots. Then that is perfect. As this play is, well, I've seen this one a couple of times. It's not really one that you see too often. And it never works, and it hasn't worked.
You've got one player that's like, let's have it, let's go away. Goes for the molly, gets decimated. The player behind him's like, you know what, mate? I'd rather, that's not for me. I'll just tag along behind.
I'll just be over here.
Yeah, I'll just be over here. You can die, that's not for me. When you play T-side, everyone has to be on the same page. If one player goes through a molly, everyone goes through a molly. You can't have the split decisions there. One player goes through, dies, fair play. When you see your friend get cremated like that, you don't want the same fate for yourself, but at the same time, you just have to play as a unit and try and find that trade somehow.
I feel like at this point we were wearing the costume of FM in the first half, but we had a quick wardrobe change in the second half as we're back on towards the Endpoint side as they make it work. Robin going to look to throw a wrench into the works though as he finds himself one. Stanley a quick second with the Tech 9, and could this be the Caster's Curse swinging back into action as Ezio lines them up, but doesn't quite knock them down as it's only going to be one for him.
Oh, such good position here as well from Robin. He will cut off the rotation from Lazar. Can we take a look at the money as well? Just real quick. Okay, so Endpoint, they can go for this. They can go for every single round. So right now, if you're Lazar, your job is, or Lazar or Jess, is to find exit kills. Try and get guns out of FM's hands because the money on FM's side is so low. So any frags they do find, that might put a Tech 9 on one of these T players. But we saw how good Stanley was, of course, with that Tech 9. But here it comes. Can they find the frag? Spraying against one onto Robin. They're not going for the round win. They just need to get guns out of the hands and try and get some Tech 9s on these T players.
Well, we talk about playing for the round win, and whether or not that is the case. We've made our call, and it is going to be still a 1-4 up there, but the Tech 9, it is going to be the weapon adopted by Lazar. But unfortunately, unlike the FM counterparts, he's unable to make it work. So he will fall and pay a price for it, but Endpoint, they can recover from that nice and easily. We're looking at $10,000, $11,000 right in their bank. They're not complaining. but the real economic team to keep an eye on is FM, and I'm just curious on what they can keep an eye on.
Only 2 rounds separating them. So close. Luz are going towards ramp again. This might catch one of these players off guard. How many times do you see Orb constantly go towards ramp and finds the first frag this time?
And gets away with it. The most important part about that, he doesn't get traded off. They don't lose the AWP, and Luz is left feeling, you know, almost giggling in a corner. Pulse, and he's going to get it on another side of the map, though. So, Secret, the point of contention. Nade, potentially right onto Ezio's feet, but isn't going to be doing too much. Attack nonetheless, will do another hand. Robin and Pulse, just another to build on through. FM, they're starting to contest, but at a worrying scoreline, because Endpoint, they may well be on 15, but that doesn't close things out. But Max, he's still fighting to keep the dream alive. He wants to end it here and now. Well and truly premature of FM's comeback as he pushes on through, takes down the bomb on Swarzhenko. That's huge, drops down the Molotov, but look at what he's been able to achieve there. He's been able to run for the hills, secure the 2v2, and Robin and Neil, they have to fight for this one now, but on a level playing field, as Max gets the information. Vent is the point to play, it's the point of the fight.
Orb to retake B. This is not what you want right now. If FM win this, and it comes down to 14-15, the pressure is on. I mean, taking a look at the names, this is the first stage performance we've seen from Luz and Jess. Maybe that final round could really get into their head. But enough of that, because it will be the team nade going out and hitting on Luz to 50 HP. This isn't what you want already for the 2 versus 2.
The bomb is actually, you know, somewhat planted for this. He could just stick in that corner and just keep on defusing. Endpoint, they're just going to hold it on down. Neil will swing out with the AWP. He is the saving grace of FM in that scenario, because that could have been a complete different affair. We were looking at 2 seconds on that defuse, but thankfully, he does make it work. He hits that shot, and now
I trusted you there.
We are at the ultimate point. It is going to be that 30th round. It is 14-15. Yep. Endpoint, they have money to replace everything they need, but they still have to fight, and they are showing some cracks.
What's working for Endpoint? Lots of fun in these first frags. Has been good, but the problem is they get the first kill, and somewhere down the line it all collapses. They lose the 4 versus 5, and when you're Endpoint, traditionally you don't lose the 4 versus 5. I mean, maybe they thought they won it. Maybe they thought maybe they were playing with a bit too much confidence. And what that ends up in is 15-14, the 30th and final round here. Emmy jiggle peeking towards ramp, just wants to spot them out and then fall back. Has full utility here as well. Has the molly, does throw a nice molly off the wall there. I do like that. But it's looking like a late play towards outside, and will they walk into the scope of Lazza? Let's see.
It's all about timing at this point for Lazza. He wants to find himself a pick, and from there get value out of it by not dying. We stress that so much throughout this series. But that's pretty much the compass of his round for him, as he's going to try and fall back, look for some information on the jump, and from there just sit tight in that nice little corner. And he decides, you know what, where can I rotate? Where can I now add something to my team? How can I be useful with an AWP
just give
late
the
round?
information. His use right now is just to give the information, and right now, there's no 1B. And as soon as Ezio comes down these vents, if he doesn't do it very, very rapidly, oh god, 30 seconds left, and they're all towards Secret. Even the bomb, and Robin finds the first, onto Lazza. Can he get any more for his time in his trouble? Let's see, the Molotov comes out, he falls back, he's done more than enough. Lazza falls, the bomb is towards B. Robin caught off though. Mighty Max finds it, and that 1 kill, Neil Zunior finding Imi, this could be it.
This is where it all begins, but not only that, the overtime potentially may start as the CT side. They're trying to claw their way back through, they're trying to make this overtime smashed on away and crush the dreams of FM, but it's not quite happening. They are struggling to seal this one out. They've choked the past 3 or so rounds.
Oh my goodness.
Nothing is connected. They're pushing on through. Finally, Max will find the headshot onto Stanley. Ezio a second on towards Neil. It's going to be the AWP close, but Pulse misses the shot.
Oh, it's overtime. Never much love when it goes OT for FM, or for Endpoint even. How many match points did they had? 3?
Wow. Let's just take a look at that scoreboard. We are looking at so many in a row.
Battle of the Whiffs that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Battle of the Whiffs, Battle of the Voice Breaks, Battle of whatever it may be.
God, my voice is absolutely wrecked right now.
That was a round and a half. This has been a match and a half. It's got to be said. We looked at FM in that first half as the team and both decide that we're actually looking to take the win. And then Endpoint in the second half said, you know what? You got 7 rounds in a row back-to-back on the CT side. Yeah, we want one better. We're going to go for 9, maybe 10.
God, was it 9 in a row?
It was something huge like that. They finally got struck down by the intermittent
we can't see, but it was what? I mean, FM had the lead. I remember being 8-11. I'm not too sure how it changed from there, but Endpoint, they had the comeback. Why? The tactical pause comes now.
I mean, personally,
Maybe.
yeah, this is different. I'll give it that. This is some interesting UK Counter-Strike. Gotta be said.
What?
I'm
Okay,
looking
do you
forward to
remember
overtime,
when?
personally.
I'm not calling this a choke. Obviously,
Okay.
3 rounds is 3 rounds. It's not the end of the world, right? But do you remember with Liquid when they lost all those rounds in a row,
Okay.
and then they won the first round in overtime?
Yeah.
On catch, it was what, 15-7? They lost 9 rounds in a row, and they win the first round of the overtime. If that happens here again, and the tactical pause is the reason for it, I mean, come on.
I mean, you say not a choke. I say it could be a choke. Either way, we are going to find out relatively soon.
I mean, right there, I don't want to pinpoint Lazza,
And that tends to be
but
a common recurrence,
the
unfortunately.
smoke comes out. No, Lazza is unreal. Great play. He's been playing very well so far. He's been doing more
Yeah,
than
of
his
course,
job.
both sides, the positives and
But
the
what I'm
negatives.
saying is that one round, the biggest question right now is, did he give the call that they can be secret? Because if he didn't, man of the hour, man of the word, finds the first kill onto Stanley. Once again, finding the first frag for his team. Very well played there from him, but he needs to call that they can be towards secret now. This was the mistake that happened in the last round, and we already see Max here. He's not going to let the same mistake happen twice. The rotations here towards those steps. And actually, jump! He comes out. Max plucks him out the sky. Nils Jr. falls. Lutz with the second for him this round. Great play so far. And it's third as well. Fair play.
The Molotov does actually give Pulse a lifeline in terms of getting him into Vent unspotted, but it's a 1v5. I don't think that's a... Well, you know what that is? That's a double-edged sword if I've ever seen one before. You hear that phrase quite a lot thrown around in casting and in life itself, but this is the epitome of that situation because, yeah, Pulse, you may well be in Vent. They may not know you're there, but you're still in a 1v5 with 50 seconds on the clock.
Yeah. So chances are nil.
Nil? I mean, not even 1%? You're going to go full Moses all the way?
Well, I am a betting man, but let's just say I'm not going to put any money on Pulse. And that's why.
Smart decision. Yeah.
What can I say? What can I say?
Nonetheless, Endpoint, they will get that first round in overtime, and from there, they look to excel even further. Now, I'm looking at Endpoint. One question, nice and quick, almost a yes or no.
So you
answer
say
will
that,
suffice.
let's hear it.
Endpoint. In terms of long drawn-out rounds, we've seen them as a slow team. Is the fact they struggle to even win a couple of those, getting towards the end of that normal time, going to affect them going to OT?
I think with that tactical timeout, they've taken a break. I mean, sometimes when you take the tactical pauses, sometimes it's even best just to not say anything. Just don't talk, because the frustration can be so high. Imi loves to play clinical CS. Everything has to be perfect. He nitpicks the little things, and it really does show because as a team, Endpoint are phenomenal. But maybe the frustration got to him or to the players. Just take a 2-minute break, 2-minute breather, don't say anything. And with the last 30 seconds, give the call. Right, let's have a change. Lazza, play aggressive, try and get that first pick outside. And what happened? He finds 3.
Let's talk about the first pick outside. Max, he wants to stir up a show as he peeks on out, finds the first pick on towards Pulse, as previously mentioned, but then in an apt fashion, whips back on those shoes, gets himself ready on that racetrack, ready to sprint on through as he escapes in one hell of a fashion, and from there, mission impossible. Well, it's the rest of that T side as Robin darts on through, finds one in return, back on towards Ezio, but Jess, he's hungry, he wants some more of the action, goes to the third, is going to get claimed back in response by Neil in AWP, more the merrier in the grand scheme of things in this party. But unfortunately, it's one that's ended in a very lonely and unfortunate end for Neil because he's been excluded from the party. No one wants him in the fun. He's pushed outside with an AWP, having to play for the save, and he has no choice but to, with 15 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah. Maybe potentially going to save the orb. Stanley's on. Look at the money. Observer, can we take a look at the cash, please? Look at that. $250. Usually we see Jenko the orb, who likes to play a lot more aggressive than Nilzinho does. The reason being is, well, look at the money. Look at the money.
My favorite part about that was I'm pretty sure I actually heard some R's from the crowd But that's actually, I don't know whether cute is the right way to describe that.
Was that R saying, oh no, was it R for RIP? Because right now that economy is in the grave. Galittles, Tech9s. Look at the utility as well. They can't go outside when you look at it.
Pulse, he's a man on a mission.
Oh my
straight
goodness.
through the vent.
Like a dart.
100 HP, he's still intact. We talked about Mission Impossible in the round before. Well, Pulse, he's decided, you know what, I want to claim that identity and run even further. Jenko gonna find one of his own, a smooth headshot. How about looking to be a criminal in
That's
himself
a nice shot there.
as he takes down Lazar. And FM, I don't know what's got into you, but keep it going. This is the perfect start as Ezio finally going to wake up over towards ramp and claim back the life of Neil. But is it going to be enough as Jenko looking to find himself based upon 3 players? But that second headshot, so damn beautiful. But is it still going to be enough? The bomb, it's going to be ticking our way. But Ezio, unfortunately, is all but alone.
God, he is the business, isn't he? 4K for him this round. This is the final round in the first half of overtime. And right now, the problem is, right? Yes, incredible round there for Jenko, okay? Fair play, right? But that was one player to make that play. It wasn't something concrete, something that you could bet on, as they do say. Something that's repeatable, because how often do you see, I mean, unfortunately it wasn't caught on the stream, but I saw it on the second GoTV. Jenko just jumping around the corner, mid-air, spraying Lazar down, finds that second kill towards ramp, and then has an unreal spray on those other 2 players towards ramp, catch that player, mid-air headshot with the spray transfer, but enough of that because it was FM CT side that got them in the lead in the first place.
I think that's got to be the biggest thing. You know, my favorite part about watching Nuke with these 2 teams has been just how swaying the performance from both of them has been when we've shouted out.
This is the
back
pistol
and
round.
forth.
This is the pistol round we saw from last week. Wrap off and try and go fast into A main. Let's see if they can get there. Let's see if the early frags go their way. Max already in A main, tries to spray down the first play. Can't. Robin as well gets fragged. Immy and Jesper with the reply, but it's low HP on Immy. Stanley as well finds that kill towards the heaven area. Ezio fake planting, trying to find out where these CTs are. Immy holding towards heaven. Let's see what happens. Flash comes through. Stanley peeks. He needs to find the frag if there's any chance of taking this. Otherwise, we could be seeing 17-17.
He's looking for a skull, if anything. That was a headshot angle if I've ever seen one before, but unfortunately nothing presented itself. FM, they are putting themselves back off this plate as they wait and eventually bite the bullet. They go for the peek, but it's not a double peek, it's a single one, but it is still going to be enough to make it happen. It's going to be 2 quick picks, Jenko and Neil, enough to suffice the round as the defuse is going to be connected. There you have it, 17-17. FM, CT side was where they started. It's where their roots are on Nuke.
This is worrying. This is worrying if you are an Endpoint fan, because FM on their CT side, yes, I keep saying there are 5 individuals that don't have the best team play, right? CT side, that's where the individual skill shines. Even though Endpoint had those good trade kills, there's a 3 versus 3, Stanley with that crisp aim, Heaven destroys the head of that 3rd Endpoint player, and in the 2 versus 2 they lose it, and what am I watching?
I'm not really quite sure what
This
the
isn't
objective
Endpoint.
for that one was. That
Am
really...
I watching CEX right now?
That really was an Endpoint. What that was, yeah, we're going to go aggressive, which, guys, if you've been listening to us, I think you can always guess what we're about to say, and you know what, I'm not even going to say it. You can just assume it. Because that right there was a whole different identity brought to the table, and there's a reason why they don't do that. There's a reason why they go back for the very much slow and well thought out plays. And that certainly wasn't one of them. Jenko over towards ramp. Going to try and add a bit of flair, but not quite going to connect. And I think the biggest thing for FM at this point is that they are going to try and utilize their CT side advantages just to sit down, be quiet, and keep things intact. Nearly getting claimed by Max, but yet again, Pulse straight back there to pull the trigger and return the fader. Immy is going to find one, but unfortunately,
Fair play, but it's too late.
It's not quite enough.
This is too late. You're already in a 2 versus 4 there. Doesn't matter if you manage to worm your way out. Right now, match point for FM. I hope, for my bladder's sake, we don't go to double overtime right now.
Well, Endpoint, so much riding on this. They don't want FM to equalize things in this BO5. Lazar, man of the hour with an ADVP, is now going to become the child with the Tech9. It's going to be 4 AK-47, should we say, across the board for the rest of the team. So a lot of weaponry overall, and not to belittle Lazar with the Tech9, there's a lot of value he can make with that close range ability. But is he actually going to be able to make it work? Because already we are seeing Endpoint make one hell of a valiant journey.
This one,
Oh, secret, but it's going to be through the smoke, and Neil now going to fall on back, knows there's a second player there yet again, going to drop the nade right at the feet of Max, isn't going to do too much damage, just a scraping, but it's still going to be enough to delay Endpoint, slow them down yet again, and as much as that works for a T-side, it's going to be tough, and look at the crossfire positions being held. Neil and Stanley if they peek at the right
Oh
time,
no.
could all
Where's it
well be
planted
over.
for? If they plant for him, he's planted for him, opens the door, can he get one frag? No, he doesn't. Ezio's on the ball, finds it, 4 versus 4, and now such a hard site to retake. That is the B bomb side, but Ezio caught off guard by Robin. Instant refrag there, Mighty Max as well, turns this into a 2 versus 3. And
Pulse, he's
though,
still standing though. Don't forget him from the pitch just nods. Pulse is still there. He's still over towards Vents, and he gets that pick. And not only that pick, he's looking for a second. He finds it on towards Max. Jess will find it nonetheless though. The return has been claimed. We are going to even more overtime. They are keeping the fight.
What's going on, Dan?
What is this? Endpoint really don't want to let this go, and I can feel just how much effort they're putting in, but the same has to be said for FM.
38 to 22, my
But
goodness.
can we just talk about how things have gone? Because it's been a 3 for 3 in that first OT, but it's all come back to the same almost moot point that we've mentioned back and back again. FM, CT side, Endpoint, T side.
I mean, in that previous round right there, Jesp in that 1 versus 2, on the GoTV stream to my right, I could literally see him shaking. For Lazza and Jesp, this is their first, play game on stage.
I mean, this is pressure if I've ever seen some
And
before.
right now, Jesp is definitely showing up, 38 to 22. Lazza as well, 19 to 24. It's not about the frags though, because he's been getting some very crucial and important kills. Jesp obviously getting a few stat pad kills there on the ecos, but enough of that. As you just mentioned before, second OT, Endpoint on their T side. Playing contact of Lazza and actually hits that shot. Stanley with the jiggle peak does fall. And now they can go fast towards B and swarm the B bombs. Like, can he get another one for his... Can he get another one? Does he see that?
Does he actually see the shot? Oh. That is the question right down to the wire. But it's going to be just a tiny shard of metal that is enough for him to not get that information. As it has to be said, Endpoint with a 1-man advantage, looking to play into the fact...
You might even save this if you're FM. This might even be a save at this point.
I think that, you look at where they're positioned across the map. That's a smart call, because all that's going to happen is they're going to get thrown straight back through the recycler, where they just get mushed down to a pit of nothingness. They have no economy, and it's, pretty much a bit of a waste.
Yeah, UKCSGO here, not going towards Vent. Robin as well, flashing it. They're just falling back here. Trying to seal their wounds and not bleed out, economy-wise, obviously. Lazza there, man of the round. Gets the jiggle peak there onto Stanley. And gifts FM, sorry, Endpoint that B-bomb site.
I think the most kind of interesting thing for this map is that at the end of the day, this is LAN. As you mentioned, we've got a couple of players who haven't played before. We've got a couple of players who are by all means well-experienced veterans, but it's very interesting just from an onlooking perspective to sit down and watch these guys and see how LAN as itself, a prospect, just interacts with them as players. Because we are starting to see it affect a couple of people here and there. We're starting to see it fuel
the first game.
other players.
The more this goes on, the more
more
comfortable Lazza gets, on stage, the better he will perform. He is a very good player. For Endpoint, one of the most important players in that, especially in those 3 versus 3s and those after plants. He's always getting that one kill. That one kill seals the deal. Enough of that though. Fast play towards Secret. Let's see if the information's been given, because right now, no players in Vent, but Stanley's here. So, good rotation in. And actually, if he holds a good angle here, he can find 2 frags. That's all he needs. 1 is okay, but retaking B site for the CTs is so difficult. If he hides behind the silo, this would be so crucial right now. They're on the B bomb side. Does he spot them going towards ramp? He does.
And he still is going to fall.
No, that's Jenko that dies.
Ooh, the snapping right there. Imi is going to take him down. Stanley still over towards Silo, and
Oh, the spray!
He will eventually fall. Perhaps the crystal ball coming into effect there, but it's still enough for a CT side. It's going to be a quick combine over the side of Endpoint. As Ezio, the last man standing, a 1v3, not quite enough. And, well, there you have it. We thought we saw some hope in the T side of Endpoint. And by all means, there were a couple of rounds where, you know what, we could go, that was justifiable. But for the most part, as much as we said that Endpoint on their T side were what we looked towards, no, that was actually a mistake from us there, because we knew right from the get-go that it was FM on the CT side, but also Endpoint on the CT side, because you look at normal time, back and forth, both teams looking to strive over that 7 and 8 in a row. Both teams in a
The
very
biggest
awkward
difference,
contesting point on T side.
The biggest difference for me is the B-bomb side. Endpoint, they're so good in the afterplants. Crossfires, flashes, Luz with his AWP as well, holding those crucial angles of vent, ramp. Once the bomb goes down for Endpoint, it's very rare that they actually do lose those rounds. And Neil Zinho, watching for the push, does find that first frag onto Imi. And usually, where you find Imi is the opposite side to where you find the rest of his team, as Jenko kills Lazar towards outside.
Well, is the jig up? Have FM realized that is the case? As they have found themselves 2 picks, Imi and Lazar respectively. So how far are they willing to go? Of course, Endpoint still, they have themselves with firepower intact, and they are playing right within that shroud. Max literally on the edge, but he still gets the headshot on towards Pulse, and if he gets a second here up towards Heaven, this could be pinpoint perfect in terms of making it work. The Molotov straight down in towards Vent, gonna deny Neil from coming up from behind. This buys them time, buys them a bomb plant, but is it gonna be enough? Max now in a 1v3. Unfortunately.
As I say, they're so good once the bomb goes down.
I think in that scenario they got the bomb down though in a very, very clutch situation.
Yeah, I mean,
the Molotov pretty much allowed that to happen.
This is the thing, when the bomb goes down, right, good Molotov there, denies Neilzinho with that fast rotate in, fair game, right? The problem is they didn't have the attention towards Heaven, and that really did change the outcome of this round. First to 22, right? Yes, first to 22. Okay, just double checking. Testing the stream. I'm actually testing the stream, lads.
It's just a chat. It's just literally a test for production, test for the stream. We're just making sure that they
testing 1, 2, 3. Yep.
know everything. Yeah.
2019 now. Lazar gone towards ramp, and I don't think there's going to be any T's potentially walking into his crosshair just yet. Jess and his teammate there, Ezio, on the A bomb site, playing very close together though. So we'll be wondering to see how that happens, or how that unfolds if the attack does come towards A. Obviously, when you stack up on the CT side, it's very easy to get multiple frags for the T's, but enough of that. Smoke comes in, and actually I thought they were going to pull the trigger there, but maybe that smoke just holds them off for a few more seconds.
And every single second, ever so important when it comes down to a match of Counter-Strike. Silo, one position that is going to be contested. Neil, as he sprays off a few, but doesn't quite get a reward until the second face coming in from Imi, which doesn't really have too much reason behind it, as he is going to be spinning on around, but another flash to go off, and look at this and go, do they expect him? Well, the answer is going to be no, as Max gets the first, goes for the second, and this buys Endpoint, potentially the lifeline they needed.
Oh, come on.
I mean, surely the jig is up now with Silo.
Well, 2 frags for him. He's done more than enough this round, but obviously that first frag onto Imi does mean that we are in a 3 versus 3, and that generally favors the T's, but Ezio might just change the pace of this whole round.
Doesn't need to overface, needs to bite the bullet at the perfect time.
He did bite that bullet. He bite that bullet right to the face.
Jess is still standing though. He has been huge, but it's still going to be the trading game for FM eSports. They pull themselves ahead. Lazar now looking to meet a playmaker with an AWP.
Oh, no.
Spots him out, has to drop down and go for a much more close range affair, as Pulse going to be there to try and go close range, but Jenko is going to find that headshot. And what a way to make it close and contested, because here we are, match point, Endpoint. They thought battling it for a 1-for-1 affair was tough.
It's not their map though. Right now, if you're Endpoint, allow this one to slip. You've already got the 1 map advantage with the first seed coming into this. Allow Nuke to slip. It's not the end of the world if they lose this, because it's a warm-up. Think about this, right? Jesp and Lazar, first match on stage, okay? You sort of want your enemy team to have the first map, so that once it's your map and it's your choice, your players are warmed up, they're comfortable, and you can take your map, because at that point it's 2-1, remember?
As much as your reasoning, it may well be sound, but I've got to look at it and contest that point just purely on the basis that it's 21-19. They don't want to let this swing on by. The sheer amount of stamina they've had to invest, you don't want to just go to sleep and basically say, you know what, yeah, FM, you played well, you got to 21. Yeah, Endpoint, we're just going to go sit in the corner now. You can have it. It's fine.
I'm not thinking quite like that, but fair play.
They're still going to contest this one. They are still going to go guns blazing.
The point I'm making is it's not the end of the world if Endpoint loses. Don't get caught up in the moment. Don't be frustrated if you do let this one slip. Obviously, fair game if you take it.
Emotions are everything in Counter-Strike.
They are indeed, and Neilzinho getting aggressive. I do like this, actually. It's very rare you see an AWP towards Heaven. Flash comes in. Will he check it? Yes, he will. Sprays him. Well, he was spraying him till we saw the play around. But enough of that. Max does find the kill onto Neilzinho. 4 versus 4 right now. Stanley mulling off Vent, and it's Max now to hold the line. Finds 1. Can he get any more? The smoke comes in. Great smoke. Buy time for your team to rotate in.
Max, his work absolutely cut out for him at this point, but the best thing he can do is just do what you say, buy time. Needs to really trade along that currency. As Robin and Co are going to be playing from the shadows in their regard. A couple of flashes here and there going to be thrown off by the CT side. Still Molotov into the court of Max as well. He's still sitting wormed into this corner, and Stanley going to push on through. A double kill for him, and this is where it may well all end. 2 versus 3. The CT side, well,
GG.
They are asleep. They are in that bullpen that you talked ever so dearly about, because it is going to be just that. 22-19. FM eSports, first map in the bag.